Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. Today is the last episode on this world right here. We are having a map reset. We are starting all over again, and it could possibly mean the end of Hermitcraft for me, because I will not have the time to play on another map, although I'm going to try and make the effort to. Perhaps I'll just focus on doing some stuff with other people, but the whole survival Minecraft thing has become really tedious, and with all the videos and projects that I'm working on at the moment, it's been something that's really taken a back seat and I've not had time to do. But when Hermitcraft started, it was perfect timing for me. I was doing my little xisumavoid world thing, having a blast with that, and I really wanted to play with other people on a server. I remember Minecraft had become very popular and made it quite clear that actually playing on a server was a lot of fun. And I think before that, servers were kind of not a place to LP, or at least as far as I was aware. But then Generic came along and he asked me to join him, and straight away I said yes. And so Hermitcraft was born. We did have one map that failed. There was something wrong with the server and we had to start all over again. But when we started over again, this was the map that we chose. And the reason we chose it is because I think maybe it was Red Eyes who was going through different maps, and he was just typing in the seed 1, 2, 3 or 4, and when he got to 4 he saw the Mushroom Island right next to spawn, and so that kind of became our main decision as to why to choose this map right here. But it was great. Survival Minecraft, playing it back then, I was really into it. I loved all the resource gathering and building farms and doing lots of things like that. But after doing that for over a year, it's become really tedious and not something that I'm that interested in anymore. But this right here, the reason that I've stopped is because this is Joe Hills' horse unstable. I don't want to break that. Can we actually read the sign? It appears that this isn't attached to anything, so let's break that and see what it says. So, Horse Stable by Joe Hills and I Am Spoon. As he's referred to it to me as a horse unstable, because if we go in here you'll see that it is a very unstable horse stable. If you break pretty much or change anything in here, the whole thing is going to fall apart. So if we change this trapdoor, I think the sand would fall down, or does it require a block update? But anyway, you can see what's going on here. Everything's being suspended, all of these gravity blocks by other things, and if we were to remove one item at the bottom here, then the whole thing would fall down. It's really quite humorous, but I like that. But yeah, Hermitcraft, it's been one hell of a journey, and one that I remember very well. And I find that with Minecraft, I don't know why, but things that I do in Minecraft stick in my brain a lot more than other things, and I think that might be because I'm recording LPs as well, making videos out of what I'm doing. But when I go around and look at this place, I can almost look at it from the day where we first started, and I can remember all these different things that we got up to. But this place has definitely changed a lot over time. Some buildings have been rebuilt, like this one here, which was originally Kearshar's home. And this one over here was built by Generic, and then he gave it to Joe Hills, and then Joe Hills frequently redecorates it. And I'm not sure what this is called at the moment, but I like this quartz and vines thing. That actually looks really cool. But over here we have Biffa's house, we have Hypno's, which then King Daddy D-Mac took over. We have I Am Spoon's house, that came later on when Spoon joined. And then we got my house over here, which I built pretty much straight away when we came on. And if you remember, if you've been watching Hermitcraft all this time, you will remember that I stayed at spawn for a long time, building lots of things for the community, farms and things like that. That's Cube Hamster's area over there as well. Topmass's little environmental observatory, I forget what that's actually called. Yeah, and I remember Generic B pranked me and I didn't really like it. At first I thought it was great, I came into my base and there was this sign saying that my diamonds had been taken, and I went up to my chest and sure enough they had been taken away. But then I had to go on a really long treasure hunt. Now, Generic used the nether portals to get around, so everyone had their little bases all over the place, and he just went through their nether portals to get to one place to the other. And I didn't do that. I actually spent the whole time swimming around in a boat, going on this ridiculous treasure hunt, and that kind of thing, like tedious exploration and things like that. It didn't really go down well with me, but looking back at it, it was really fun. And the whole time my diamonds were actually on the roof, and so I got to the very last sign that he had laid down and saw that actually your diamonds are on the roof of your house, and I went mad. I went mad with rage. But it's all good looking back on it. I had a lot of fun building and doing all these different things on Hermitcraft over time. And so this episode I just want to go around and talk and walk about different things. This is the slime farm. I can remember building that. And as I said a moment ago about being able to remember things that you do in Minecraft, it's like I can remember what it was like, what I was thinking and doing, and all the different buildings and stuff that you do along the way. I can also remember the music that I was listening to when I go back and look at various different places, which I like. But that's Cube Hamster's treehouse. There's Corralis's Sheep Island. I think that has a name. I forget what he called that. But this house right here was really nice. And I think before Corralis came on Hermitcraft, I think he just played in creative all the time, because I remember him spending ages and ages building this house, and he was just like, oh, this takes forever. And of course I think he played in creative mode a lot. But anyway, let's have a quick look at some of the things I built here, and then we'll go back to the Nether and make the journey over to Avalon. This is the community mines. This is one of the things that I built. And we have a bread maker over there that's been battered and broken by creepers and all sorts, and I think even just the general updates to Minecraft has broken this thing over time. And then this right here is the old enchanting station, and what you do on this is you hit the levers and it moves the half slabs up and down, and then they stop, I was about to say they stop this enchanting table from interacting with the books around them. So when you hit them up like this, then you're going to be able to get lower level enchants on this, but it's all broken and old because Minecraft updates and it changes, and you know, these things don't work anymore. But this is one of my favourite and fond memories of the Hermitcraft spawn, is building this farm, because I wanted to build some melon and pumpkin farms for everyone, and I came up with this design which I'm really pleased with. It's basically modular vertical, so you can take this 2 layers here and then stack them on the top, and it will work without you having to do anything extra. So when you press this button at the bottom, you're going to send a signal upwards, which goes up in a chain reaction, and it activates all of these pistons one by one. In fact, it activates them twice if I remember, due to some reason. I can't remember why, but yeah, it goes up and it knocks off all the pumpkins into the water stream in the middle, and then they come back down here to the middle, and that's obviously the melons. This is the pumpkin one on this side. And yeah, that was a lot of fun to build. I can remember doing all of this, and yeah, it's just really nice to walk around and see it all again. In here we have the skeleton farm, and I spent a lot of time working on this. I remember it took me a really long time to figure this out, but what we have here is an XP farm. So the mobs will go up this tower over here, which several people have modified and changed, and I don't think it actually works anymore. But they go all the way to the top, and then they fall down, and when they land on this half slab, they're one-hit kill. But if you hit this switch, you can actually deactivate that from happening, and the water here will actually bring the mob's items down to the front. So what it does is it drowns the skeletons, and when they die, their drops just come down this water stream, and you can stand here and collect them AFK, which is really cool. But that was certainly a long time ago that I did that. After I'd done that, I think I moved on to doing the tree farms that you see over the back here. These are really cool as well. What you can do is plant down a row of trees. I'm not sure if they're still planted because things change over time, and I think the sapling drop rates were nerfed, and so now everyone's been planting them one tree after the other. But you can go through like this and chop them all down, including these ones up the top here, and when you're done chopping down all of the logs, then the leaves are just left decaying by themselves. And so you can come around to the front here, and we have a random yellow sheep. Hello, where are you going? What's your name? Are you Sean? You're not Sean the sheep. I think he's looking for something in this chest. What's in the chest, mate? There's nothing in these chests, because no one hardly ever uses this place. Anyway, you hit the lever up here, and the water goes across, and it flushes all of the drops into a water stream, which you can go down here where this yellow sheep has decided he wants to hang out, and yeah, you can just collect them here. Now I think there was a stair block here, because you usually weren't able to see that. Yeah, there was an upside down stair block there, or something like that. Oh, he's gone. He's off. He's going back outside again. Doesn't like that place, do you? Nope. Perfect timing there. Okay, and then if we go down here, this is the sapling and apple farm is what I called it. Now the way that this works is you've got all of these little rooms. You walk up to one, you put down your sapling, you bone meal it, which used to just take one bone meal, and then the tree would grow, and it would grow all the way up there except you can see there's this pillar of dirt, so it would actually not put wood blocks there, the dirt blocks would just stay there. So there'd be one wood block at the bottom, you'd harvest that with your axe, and then all of the leaves up the top would be decaying and falling down. So you'd go around and do that one by one, all the way back down the other side, and when you got back down here, all of the items had usually finished gathering up here, and you could walk up and collect them from the water stream. And this I remember being a really tedious job, because look at the size of this room. It took me forever to dig it out, and then to do all the detail with the roof and the floor as well, it just took a really long time. And I think half of this is in a big cave section as well, so I kept falling down into that, and oh, it was a real nightmare. And now I've broken that because this has efficiency 4. Let's just replace that. We don't want to make a mess. We want to leave the server in nice condition, like that. And then if we go up to the top, I started working on an animal breeding system for multiplayer. Now this is really different these days, because the game has been fixed, but back then, here he is again. Are you watching me? Oh, yep, you are. Let's have a look at this quickly. It looks like someone's rebuilt the chicken farm. I think it burnt down last time I was here. And we can just press that to fire some chickens in there by the looks of it. So there's a couple of signs here. Chicken is not for burning like candles. It is not wicked. It is not a wicked wax. Does that say wicked? Let's have a closer look. It does. It is not a wicked wax cylinder that provides light. That is very true. It looks like it's still a little bit broken down here, but someone's tried to repair that. That's cool, because it got burned down and I can't remember why. But spinning around now, what I was talking about a moment ago was these little breeding areas over here. Now, back when I built this, which was a long time ago, I think it might have been Minecraft 1.1 or 1.2. Wow, it's really been a long time playing on this server. But back then, animals used to be really derpy on servers. If they were to stand next to a block like this, if they were to stand on the side of it, they would kind of glitch up and down, and then eventually they could actually clip out of that and stand on top of the block. So what you needed to do was create a way to store the animals without them touching blocks. And what I came up with was putting this water barrier around the outside that always pushes them back into the middle. And so what you could do is breed the animals. They'd all stay contained in this area here, and then you could go in and kill them and get drops and stuff like that. Now somewhere around here, okay, someone's replaced that with a T flip-flop, or no, they haven't. Well, that is what I wanted to show you. This one over here has a lever, and that's how you get in and out, although if I do that, they'll all start wandering out of there. And then over here we have Unhost's house. Now, Unhost joined maybe 3 or 4 months ago, maybe even longer than that. But I always knew Unhost as a PvPer, and I didn't realise that he was a builder. But check this out, he came on the server, he told me that he'd been building a house, and I came to check it out, and I was amazed at this. This looks wonderful, especially the quartz that we have at the front here. And yeah, that was a real surprise to see. I came down here, didn't know what to expect, and there was this really nice sandstone and nether brick house. Nether quartz. Man, I'm getting all my words tangled up today. But let's just see what's going on here. I don't know what this is. There's some sort of hole in the ground. And then these are the more recent things we had. Co-Star, I think, was working on a house, and I think he's now quit YouTube, which is a shame. And then over here we have Assassin's house, and then Joe Hill's built this over here as well. And this actually looks really, really nice, especially the roof. It's all made out of leaves, I think. So let's go have a quick look over there, and then we're going to head back to the nether part of the village, or at least we're going to go into the nether. But yeah, a lot of fun times spent on Hermitcraft, and I'm really going to miss it, but I really like that I have the LP as well. That's kind of like a record of all the wonderful things that we've done on the server and all the good times that we've had. So here's one of the other things that I built at spawn, the nether hub. I remember spending quite a lot of time on this. I wanted it to look good from the outside, and I don't think I really ever finished that. If we go around and have a look, say from over here, still kind of looks a little bit awkward. And I remember it looking a bit like a fat spider because it had these legs on either side, like these tiny pathetic legs and this big bulk. But it doesn't quite look like that anymore. That was when I was building it. I remember that. But yeah, just back then, I guess, when we started Hermitcraft, I didn't used to make 2 videos a day, and I didn't have other projects taking up my time as well. And so I could spend a lot of time doing this, and I really, really do enjoy, you know, the survival experience. It's just a case of time these days. But all of this, I remember building it. It took me quite some time. And yeah, we've got the beds, the little room up here with a nice view. And these beds, you can't actually respawn in them because you need to have a block. This is a half slab, so it needs to be half a block lower, and then you could spawn on a block next to it. So if you sleep in those beds, you're actually just going to end up right here. So it kind of does work because this is spawn, and you'll end up on top of this building if your bed is obstructed or missing, as the game tells you. But yeah, spent a lot of time doing this. I remember Topmas coming and helped me finishing off the floor. It spent a lot of time trying out different patterns with the slabs and the furnaces, which is what these are. And we settled on this. So let's go through into the Nether. Now, I can barely remember. That's one of the things I can't really remember, is what the Nether looked like when we first played on here and before we built the hub. But then the Nether is really kind of a bland and repetitive place, and it's not something that you're going to remember too well. But this place has changed a lot over time. And I don't think I really want to stick around here too much, because all these changes have been quite recent, and so it feels quite fresh to me. I wonder if my TNT shop is still intact. It is. I remember that someone took some TNT. And look at this, there's just tons of TNT left over. It'll never get used. It'll never get used for blowing things up. Got the old little T headquarters, or whatever this was called, little service area. Looks like it's actually been griefed a little bit here. There's some blocks missing, but... well, I say griefed, no one would come around and grief it, of course. And yeah, it's nice to have a little look round, but I think I'm going to head back to Avalon now. Okay, I do have a minecart. However, I wanted to walk along this bit here, and I didn't really plan on jumping a lot, but we have to do that. This was a huge project, this Nether tunnel, and do you know what? Since I finished building it, I haven't really used it a lot, but it was definitely a really fun build. This is the last part right here. The last part that we worked on, which is actually the beginning of the tunnel, so I worked from my base back towards Avalon. But all of this, some of you may not have seen it before, took me a hell of a long time, and I don't know, it's madness. It took me like days just to do little sections at a time, because being in the Nether, you have to transport loads of materials into the Nether, and then you're more at risk because of ghasts and zombie pigmen. You die a lot when you're working in the Nether, and all kinds of things can go wrong. But this design, I'm really pleased that I did actually finish this. We should go and have a look from the outside, which probably means I'm going to break the glass. But that's fine, you know, this is the last time playing on this. In fact, let's do that right now, because up here the view is actually a little bit boring from inside. So we're going to go down here and have a look. Yes, there it is. It looks glorious. So I had the idea when I was making my Nether tunnel that I wanted something really big and extreme, but I wanted it to sort of hang from the ceiling. I wanted it to be up there, so whenever you're travelling through the Nether on foot like this, you'd see this big old tunnel up in the sky. And then it didn't take me long to come up with the idea to have it suspended by lava, which is actually the thing I like most about it, because it does genuinely look like the lava or some sort of support beams. And I thought that pigman was on the outside for a second. But yeah, had some really great times doing this in the Nether. I remember building tunnels with Hypno and Joe Hills, and we used to visit Hypno's old base a lot to do leveling up and use his XP farm before I got my own one going. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, it feels like all I'm talking about is I remember this, I remember that, and I can't really show you what it is I remember. It's just nice to walk around and think about all the good times had on the server. And yeah, let's have another little look from over here at the tunnel. Yeah, look at that, that looks great. You know what, I was just thinking about everything that I've recorded so far, and I remember Joe Hill said in the Hermitcraft chat that he got quite emotional when recording his last episode on here. I think we need to go down. And I don't feel too emotional, and I realised that I kind of always try and enjoy things the most and make the most of them while they happen. And so the whole time that we've been on Hermitcraft, I've been making sure that I have a good time and that I, you know, really do my best making this little survival world and all of that. And so now when we reach the end of it, it doesn't feel like there's any disappointment or anything to be missed. It just feels like, you know, I did the best I could and I had a great time doing it, which is most important. And I think actually that's something that should translate to a lot of things in life, you know, always make the most of a situation. But I'm trying to look outside at the moment because I was a bit crazy to do this, but you can see that I put grass all around the outside of my nether pyramid. And this project actually got finished in some respects. A lot of things get they get left undone. Undone? I don't know what words I'm using here. They get left unfinished, I think is what I was trying to say. But this was finished, look. It's all done. We have the map of Avalon. This is the map of my island, so you can see the oceans around the outside. The only thing I think I didn't really do was maybe finish some of the underparts, and by that I mean that I would have liked to have had more tunnels down there connecting to more things. But this is pretty much done, you see. We got all of the inside done. We built the map. I still can't believe I did that. In fact, something happened. Yes, so I spent a very long time building this, and then I realised that I had actually built it the wrong way round and I had to start all over again. So we'd done like half of this area over here, and I was building the tunnels underneath, and I was going through over to this place and to that place, and I was like, hang on a minute, something here isn't right. And then I realised that I'd actually built the map on top the wrong way round. Now the reason that I'd actually done that, I think, is because I'd used nether portals, so I left the world facing in one direction, walked through it, and the direction that I came out in the nether, that's the way that I started building, which is a very bad thing to do. Now there are ghasts around, and look, you can see some of the damage they've done already, and that, if you're wondering, is when I went out there to have a look. I was thinking about building a gold farm. Really glad I didn't do that, because not long after I kind of burned out with survival Minecraft. And there's a chest here as well. I think this will be from Biffa. Yeah, just some leftovers from what he was building. And look, can't remember what this sign said. Sorry, Biffa, that's quite alright, don't worry. He had to take the horses out of here. I don't know how he did it using such a small space, but actually, if we think about it, in this snapshot, you can send horses up ladders. That was really smart thinking. Do you know what I would have done? I would have built a staircase and ripped out a ton of this. But yeah, down here as well, lots of fond memories, lots of decisions made over time on how to make this look, and it turned out really great. Don't think there's anything much here that I don't, want to change or regret doing. We've got the map of Hermitcraft. There is so much stuff to check out. We've got the storage area that never got finished or really even started, and it's really doom and gloomy in here. Now if we go around over here, we have some chests full of items from my mob farm, which I spent an amazing amount of time working on. In fact, if you haven't seen that, just go back and look for an episode where there's a big hole on the cover. Now I'm not going to say I'm going to put an annotation on the screen or anything like that, because I know I will forget, but that is one episode you want to check out, because I did a time lapse of me parkouring over lots of the area as I was digging it out or something like that, and that was a hell of a lot of fun. But we'll have a quick look over here first of all. This is one of my quite recent projects actually. It was one of the things that I always planned on doing, and I challenged myself a little bit here, building out of the comfort zone. These leaf blocks right here look really nice. These are jungle leaf blocks, and because they've all got water around them, it just gives them this really nice colour. But if we go up to the top here, you'll see we have an ice farm, and this may be about 10 to 15 episodes ago that I actually finished this. And do you know what, from over here the village looks wonderful. Now there's a project that I never got round to finishing, and man, I really wish I'd done that, I'll tell you that. But anyway, yeah, we've seen what's going on here. You know what's going on here. It's an ice farm. So what we'll do is head back into the nether and go all the way over to the quarry area. It's funny the way the brain works. I just stepped back down into this tunnel down here, and I remember so much about building it. Again, I don't want to keep going on about it, but I watched a bunch of films, and I can just remember everything that I did whilst doing it. It's really strange how Minecraft just latches itself to your to your memory. Now I remember what's down there. We're going to go look at that in a minute. That is the witch farm. That was a really ambitious project. I can't believe how much I actually got done with that. And this over here was pretty ambitious as well. Now that we walk around and look at everything one after another, I realise just how much time and stuff that I've done on this server. It's really quite amazing. We got the forest deforestation project over there, we got the quarry, and my plan was over time to just constantly come over here every now and then, gather some sand and sandstone, and just annihilate everything in sight. So when you came over here, it was just one big wasteland. And this was one of my first organic projects as well. Just kind of putting things wherever for whatever reason. But it never got that far. This is where the burnout started to begin, I think, around maybe not getting tongue-tied there. Maybe not when I was actually doing this project, but not long after, starting to get really burned out. But anyway, let's head over to the witch farm. So here we are at the witch farm. If you don't know what this project is or what it was about, then you might call me a madman because, hey, Red Eyes is on. Let's say hello. So, oh, falling in between the chests. Yeah, so you might think I'm mad, but I wanted to do a witch farm, and I wanted to do it with a perimeter so it become the most efficient it could be. And I decided that if I were to do that, I should also remove all of the water in the area as well, because then I could use this area for a squid farm. And I think this is broken, by the way, and it appears that something's on fire. I'm going to guess that that's an arrow on fire stuck into the wall. Actually, it's working a little bit there. I'm just going to guess that some of the redstone is broken. Yeah, so I decided that I would remove all of the water in sight. Now, at first this seemed like a really good idea because all of the ground was level because it was a swamp biome. And let's take care of this guy here. Wah! There you go, take that. Man, these slimes. There's loads of them in this place. Well, I wonder where this guy spawned, though. Yeah, so there's this big area. It's a swamp biome. Thought that would be a good opportunity to just cover everything in half slabs and have like a real test world perimeter feel. And it didn't take me long until I realised that that was a huge task because I wanted to remove all of the water. So if we have a look down here, and I really wish it was daytime, we could see this a lot better. But this goes down quite deep, and there's actually a lot of that around here. And I actually started filling all of it in with like blocks that I had gathered from removing big land masses like that one over there. So the perimeter size I think is 144 blocks from the edge of the witch farm over to one side. These half slabs go all the way around the outside, and we should ender pearl around a bit to have a look. And we should actually pillar up into the sky when it's daytime so we can see this. But it was a crazy ambitious project, and it was when I was in the mood for doing something quite grindy, which is what this is. But sometimes you can be in the mood for that because you just want to play a bit of Minecraft. You don't want to think too much, you want to listen to some music. And you can just chill out, listen to music, and place down half slabs. And if we have a look over here as well, you can see the big mass of land that I didn't get around to removing, although I've done a lot on this side over here. So this land went all the way across to over there. You can kind of see the height of it, and there was a big bit over there that I removed as well. But this is one of the projects I would have really liked to have finished actually, because it was so ambitious and I got so far with it, and then things kind of fell apart. I got bored. I think if I were to ever come back to Minecraft again, I'd love to do a project like this again, the perimeter around the witch farm, make that the centre of your base. You get lots of redstone and I was going to say iron, but that's not what you get from them at all, is it? Redstone and potion stuff. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to wait until it's daytime here so we can pillar up into the sky and have a look. Look at that. It looks really insane when you come up. Wow. Oh man, I got so much of this done. That is really a strange view. And this is the perimeter here, so that's the edge. And then after I did that, I decided I wanted to go a little bit further, so I started clearing out some of the land over there, but I didn't really get too far with that. But just have a look at that. That is insane. And there's even more off in that direction, but it's too far away. And you know what? I'm not going to remove this because this is going to be pretty much the last time I log into the server when it has this map. So here we are back on Hermitcraft. On Avalon. This is one of the first projects I did over here. The animal breeders. I can't remember if I gave these a name, but this was a really cool project. We had the water pushing all of the animals into the middle, and then on either side you would go down here and there would be some little lava cookers. Don't think this is going to work. This could possibly break. Okay, so when they fall down, they get automatically killed because the water pushes them into lava, and then that just gives you your drops. But on the other side over here, it works slightly differently. I think when you press it, you activate it. Ah, yeah, that's right. Okay, so the pigs fall through the lava, which cooks them, and then they land on the ground, and then that's to bring all the drops to the front. But this was a very fun project right here. And we have this over here, which is actually broken now. It was a little machine for growing crops, so you'd walk across one side with your seeds, and then you would switch to bone meal and you'd come all the way across here, and then when you get to the end you would stand on this pressure plate, which this you can see no longer works, and that would harvest all of the crops, which you could then pick up when you walk back across the front again. But what it should do is it should actually send the blocks back again like that. But that was a really cool little invention. And over here we have another really tedious and crazy project. Let's go have a look. All this glass under there, you can barely see what's going on in there. And that was going to be my experimenting area. It was going to be like a warehouse for building things, and I wanted this big grand glass roof under the water and then had this big area under there, but it actually changed into the arena over time, so we're going to go have a look at that. But while we walk across to the village, I think we should go that way first. I want to talk about what the future of Hermitcraft now is, because where I'm at right now, I'm burned out and kind of getting back into survival Minecraft, but if we start a new map then I lose everything that I've had so far in this world. And that is a real problem for me, because if I want to go and start a project, I have all the materials, the tools that I need, the farms and things like that as well. And if we start over again, then it's going to be a very long time before I can get all of those materials back together again. And because of that, I feel very unmotivated to actually play on this new server. I'm going to go on and make an effort in the beginning, but I don't really see myself, making videos on there anymore, which is a real shame. But down here is Unhost Nano Farm. Over here we have a animal breeder. I don't know why that's activated. This is more recent, this one. Okay, so something here is just broken basically. I think the cow got sent down the end there, I'm not sure. If it did, its drop should get sent up here. Yep, there you go, look, the steak is coming in. So it looks like a couple of cows got sent down the side. Yeah, so not really sure what to say. It's like, I do want to play on the new server, but I can't see myself spending all that time building farms and getting myself back to where I was again. So it's quite unlikely. But anyway, we have Shaun the Sheep's little shrine over here, and his friend Freddy the Chicken, who has multiplied greatly. Then we have our little wishing well over here, so you throw down some things like that and make a wish, and you can see this is open over here. Oh, it's not open. Never mind. Well, anyway, under there are some hoppers and a little collection area, because at the end of one of the episodes I threw my diamonds into there and they disappeared, and I was curious to see what people would make of that. I don't know what this is. This is where the old nether portal was, and then this is the church. Now this area, we saw it a while ago, it looks great from a distance. It's a real shame this project didn't get finished as well, but do you know what, I had a really good time doing all of the stuff we did over here. Didn't we lose our villagers? Oh yes, we lost our zombie villagers down the bottom here, and then we had to go on another long journey to get these guys back, and then we finished building all of this. I think that may have been one of the last straws pulled for me on survival Minecraft. I was having trouble. I recorded an episode and it was going really well, and then I realised that my microphone was muted, and it was one of the best episodes I recorded in a long time. Recording for me can be quite difficult. Like right now my voice feels a little bit strained. I'm not really a talkative person as it is, so making videos is kind of strange for me. But that day I had a really good day, really had fun recording an episode, and then all of my footage had no audio for the microphone. And so I had to go back and do everything over again, and then the thing with the villagers happened and it just really pulled my straws, and I think that might have been when I decided, okay, I can't do this anymore, it's just crazy playing this game. But this area here, I really enjoyed this project, filling up Avalon with a nice garden of trees, and hello. Why is there a cow over here? I do not know. There shouldn't be any roaming around in this area. We've got the fishing farm over here, which we actually finished in the end. This is it right here, so when you activate this it always gives you a fishing rod. You aim up into the sky, you use the F10 trick, and yeah, and you just do lots of fishing. So if we go around this way, there's not much really to see on the surface with the exception of the jungle project, so we should go have a look at that. I think we're actually nearing the end of all the projects that I've done over time on here. There is the mob spawner, we've got to go look at that, so that's the main hub. We've got the sugarcane farm up there, and if we go past this, oh, I don't know why that's not letting me sprint, but if we go over here we have the sheep farm. Now this was planned from Like one of the first days on Hermitcraft, I'm going to build a sheep farm over there, and it took me absolutely ages to get on and finish it. We had loads of sheep in a pen for a long time, but now our sheep farm is all underground. I hope nothing has changed and broken this. I know that I can no longer actually breed the sheep when they're in there because the newborn sheep will be smaller, so they will actually fall out of their holding cells. But let's go down and have a look. Yeah, this is a really, really cool project as well. You can go along here, you can shear them all, well, you can't breed them anymore, but they all have grass, and there's lots of grass around them to regrow that. So that includes grass up the top here, which we can't actually see because there's loads of sheep. There you go, you can just about see it there. And there's glass on top of that, so it means that as long as it's getting sunlight, I think it's going to be fine basically. So we're going to go have a look at the jungle next. Ah, the jungle. This was a very fun project. This was done at a time where I was kind of running out of ideas, I remember. Wasn't really sure what to do, and then I just started planting jungle trees everywhere, and it really worked. I really enjoyed building up my own little biome over here. We have the mob spawner underneath it, which was one of the first projects that I did. If you haven't seen it, I think I might have mentioned this earlier, but there's a video, an old Hermitcraft episode. I recommend going and looking for it. It's a shorter one. Must have been around the 20s or the 30s, I think. But I basically dug a massive hole here to fit my mob spawner into. I decided to build it underground with a mob-evator just because that had become something that people didn't seem to do anymore. They like to build their traps up in the sky, so I thought I'd do something different, or do it how they used to be done and build it underground. So that was a lot of work, and I'd done like a time lapse and some parkour over all the ores that were left over or something like that. And this is the mob spawner right here. So you have a selection system for this up the top, which allows you to take your mobs and choose what path you want to send them on. So right now they're going into the XP part, but with some redstone we can control this and send them all the way down to the end here. And when they go down the end, they're going to fall down there, and there's a little AFK stream that takes all the items into the nether and stores them for us. Now we can also go down there and see some of the mob spawner itself. I'm not going to look at this for too long because I don't know, you've probably seen it a few times in episodes before, but this goes down I think 12 levels, and each level is pretty much the same thing. It's just a dark room for mobs to spawn in. But I've remembered one of the other really fun projects that we've done here on Hermitcraft. Now it involves the little mob valve system that I showed you a moment ago, and while mobs are coming up here I'm going to send them down there anyway, even if we're not going to use them. So keep mobs that don't despawn in processing area. I don't know why that is such a long sign. I was thinking something at the time. Anyway, if we have a look here, that's now closed. There is a trapdoor. This guy's going to demonstrate it for us. And now he's going to go down here. And when he goes down there, he's going to trigger off something that will give him a pumpkin, and that will determine if he's a mob that can pick up items, and that means he won't despawn. So we should see him come down here now. Do you have a pumpkin on your head? No, you don't, so you're a despawning type. And I don't know what I was doing here. I was definitely doing something, and that's broken now, I guess. So yeah, the mobs will make their way all the way down here. And man, I remember building this. Another big project as well. Let's go around the corner here and have a look. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so they come down into this area here. This is used for equipping them, so you can give the the mobs loads of random items out of those dispensers. Or if we come down here, and I never really finished this either, we've got each of these little rooms where you can stop the mobs coming through. Here you can pick up items from the mobs, so any that they didn't pick up will fall down here. And then when you go into the next room, you can actually control this like that. So you can let them through or let them out on either side. And here you can stand and just give them items, and then if they don't pick them up they'll come down here, which is pretty cool. But then these mobs that come through here, they can't despawn because they can pick up items. Now that's one of the properties of a mob that can pick up items, is that they won't despawn. So Dinnerbone there I think was thinking, if you get killed by a zombie and it picks up your items, then you should definitely be able to get your items back, and if they despawn then you lose your items. So they come all the way down here, and all these pistons are to separate them into groups if you want to control them going into the arena, which was a fantastic project again. So the mobs fall down here into that little container. You can put potions here, so you can equip them with potion effects, and this is something to activate the dispenser 3 times. And if we go down here, there is a little path that leads all the way back down to the arena. And here it is. So the mobs will fall out of the sky into this. And if you remember a moment ago I showed you the warehouse, well, that's the glass roof that I was talking about, and this was all supposed to be the warehouse, but then it turned into the arena. So yeah, we have our little mob fighting arena up here. Had some really good times doing that. And then if we go through here, got the little sleeping area for people that want to, I don't know why that bed's missing, but yeah, want to set their spawn because you're going to get killed. And this was a really nice little project as well that I didn't finish, so cool little door there, and it shuts with good time. Actually, I just want to do that again. I really like that door. I should make a tutorial on that, I think. And then this room right here, I really love the aesthetics in here. Very proud of what I've done here. I keep saying here. Oh, I'm getting annoyed. Okay, anyway, so one of the things that we first did in the warehouse was build a dungeon system. It's all sort of been taken apart now, and Generic and Corrales came and played in here. And basically you'd have mobs standing down there, and when you walked into a room you'd activate some redstone that gave them potion effects, and then they would attack you. And so you'd go through room by room. Through here was one of the rooms, and there'd be different mobs in each one, and then that kind of led to the arena, which is above all this netherrack. But a moment ago I was saying I never really finished the project that we did back there. This is some other stuff that I didn't finish. Let's go over here so we can get back to that bit. That's the top of it, by the way. What I had planned was to have another door on this side that led up to... Hey, it's a pig man. I had an instinct to attack him then, that would have been a very bad idea. But it would lead up some stairs like this up into another area, which was going to be right up the top just there, and you'd have like a window, like an observation area to watch what's going on in the warehouse. But I never got around to finishing that, which is a bit of a shame. Just didn't have the time, you know. Don't have the time, that's the problem with survival Minecraft. And I think that's pretty much everything, so I don't know, I'm going to go back through to Avalon and think if I've missed anything. I think that's everything though. Ah, but it's not, of course. We have the spider farm and the strip mine, and also, yeah, we don't need to go through and have a look at that. That's fine. Actually, there's 2 portals here. What's the second one? I've forgotten. We'll go through and have a look and find out. Okay, that's what I expected to see. Oh, of course, this is the pumpkin farm, and it sounds like the redstone is freaking out a bit there. So we have our underground pumpkin farm, which sends the items into these hoppers, and on the other side we have the collection area for the mob drops. And so let's go through and have a look at the spider farm. Another really fun project, you know. I like to mix the functions with the aesthetics, so I spent a lot of time making sure this worked. You know, we had a spider farm, I think it's cave spiders, they fall down, they take damage, I can't remember. They're not one hit kill, that's for sure. Anyway, they fall down out of range of the player who stands on top of that lamp right there, and when they're out of range they're no longer tracking the player, so then the water pushes them underneath and then they come in tracking range, and that's when they start climbing up this water stream right here, and when they get to the top you can hit them and kill them. And there's probably a switch around here to change the mode or do something, but apparently that does nothing now, or maybe it was this. Okay, so that's to get your items. Oh, this probably controls the lamps, there you go. So it turns this thing on and off. It could well and truly be broken by now. But if you have a look around here, you'll notice that there's not any lamps or lights, and there is these right here, which are actually pistons. So I used piston lighting in here, and I was really pleased with how this project looked as well. But I'm sure most of you have seen this all before. So let's go through and have a look at what I think is the last thing we haven't checked out in this episode, which is the strip mine. So I think the strip mine is a really good example of why some projects don't get finished. Now, when you first approach this, you're also recording episodes as well, and you want to get your episodes out regularly. So you're talking about what you're doing, the decisions that you're making, and how you want this place to look. And then when you're done talking about that, all that's left to do is to build it, and that takes a very long time. And when you're trying to make episodes as well, you never really get the time to finish it off, because then all you can do is sort of spend hours and hours building an extra corridor down here, and then you can be like, okay, I built this, there you go, you've seen it all before, and so you spend a long time and get very little on camera for it. And of course, being an LPer, what you do in your survival world has to balance up with what you're doing on camera, so that's why this project never got finished, but I'm really pleased with what I did do down here. And the strip mine doesn't really get used a lot as well anymore. I've got so many diamonds and keep repairing the tools, but I don't know, I don't do a lot of mining is what I'm saying basically. Anyway, let's go back up to the surface. I think we've covered everything there. So I thought I'd covered everything, but actually we didn't go to the hub, which is one of the places we spend a lot of time in, so I'm sure you're all familiar with that, or with this even. We have the re-equip room down there, the storage room, the enchanting area, which was also supposed to be an area to store items in, and this turned out to be a bad idea because this isn't located anywhere near an XP farm, and you want to be able to grab items quickly and not have to go into a room and look through all these signs. But the room itself actually looks really nice. And then over here, one of my favourite projects is the potion area. Really liked how this turned out, having a cool little brewing room down here, and I should probably change this with quartz, although we're pretty much done playing on here. So this whole time that I've been going around touring all the different things that I've done, I think what I've really been doing is avoiding some final words or something that needs to be said at the end of what is like something really epic, or at least it is to me, because 133 episodes spanning over a year, you know, thousands of people turning up to watch the episodes, leaving comments, things like that, playing with loads of other epic YouTubers who are doing the same thing. We've built a community, you know, amongst ourselves and amongst the audience as well, and it's, you know, time to kind of walk away from that from some respects. I know that Hermitcraft will continue with another map, but for me it's probably the last time I play on this server. Although saying that, you know, I'm still going to do videos with the other hermits from time to time and be a part of the Hermitcraft community, but this is kind of like the final chapter of this era of Hermitcraft, if you like. So I'm not really I don't really have any last words as such. I just think that everything that's happened is what it is, and it is awesome, and so that is what I'm going to look back on in the future. I'm sure at some point I'll get really nostalgic and want to play on Hermitcraft again, but I'll have a copy of the map or something like that. I've also got all of the videos to look back on of all of the different things that I've done over time, and so my final words and thoughts, I guess, are that, I don't know, we don't need to be so final about things. Everything has its lifespan and you have to move on, and so the same thing has happened here, and it's been really fun and really awesome. I hope you have all enjoyed the episodes that I've been releasing for over a year now. It's come a little bit short lately, but I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I know you've enjoyed it. You've been leaving comments telling me that you have, and that has been fantastic. So I want to say thank you to all of you for watching the series. It's been amazing. I'm sure there'll probably never be something as epic as this on the channel again, but it has been really awesome. So and so there is something that I said I would do a long time ago on Hermitcraft, and I realised that now is the time to do it. Now back then when I said that I would do this, it was because I was just a caving maniac. I loved going caving and doing things like that. I'm sure some of you now know what it is that I'm going to do. I just realised I needed to get out of this hole. So yeah, I used to go caving a lot. I had tons and tons of diamonds, and I made a joke about throwing away a stack of diamond blocks. Now at the time it was just something that I could do because I was just going caving so much and I had so many of them, and I thought it'd be a really funny trolly thing to do, but I guess now's the time to do it. So I want to say thank you one last time for watching, and I will see you next time.